town in Texas called Sugarland. There was some land that was owned by the Fort Bend, Texas School District. Before it was owned by the school district, it was the Texas Central State Prison. But before it was that, it was called Imperial Farm, work farm for convict laborers. But before it was that, it was a sugar plantation. All of the labor was provided by slave labor. Sugarcane harvesting and milling is backbreaking and dangerous work. But after the Civil War, the slaves were freed. The Southern elites needed a way to get free labor, and they invented a system called convict leasing. It was a system where the state would arrest somebody, usually a black man. Instead of housing them at the penitentiary, they'd send them to these prison farms. People did not last very long. Many of them died within days, weeks, or months of actually arriving there. So fast forward into the mid-2000s, and they were breaking ground for this new school building in Sugarland, and lo and behold, one of the guys saw a bone sticking up out of the ground. They found a mass grave with 95 sets of remains, and it turned out that these people had been imprisoned at the Imperial Farm. They called it the Imperial Farm because it was owned by the Imperial Sugar Company, which is still in existence and is now a billion-dollar public company. And that's how I became interested and wrote the song The Ghosts of Sugarland.
Hey, Shalom, this is your brother Yuanathan. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Now, in that clip, he talked about Sugarland here in Texas. And I tried to look up the owners of the company, but it was sold. Let me double check here. Yeah, they probably just sold it to that company, but they probably still have some kind of ownership of it. Put it in a trust, detach themselves from the company, but they still, own it. You know how it goes. Sugarland, Imperial Sugar. That's what it's called, Imperial Sugar. All right. But you can see how this devil, he just redresses our captivity. He switches words around, switches the structure, gives people little liberties so that they think, they're doing their own thing. But at the end of the day, it's still the same things going on. Let me see, owners. But the precept I want to line this up with, the first precept I want to go to is Micah 2, because this whole land, especially here in Texas, right, belong to the so-called Native Americans, our brothers of the Northern Kingdom. Okay, and the scriptures say this about how this man moves, how the wicked move. This is Micah 2, and actually I'll just start here at 1. Micah 2:1, it says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity. Iniquity is sin upon sin, and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands." Now, when you read this in the NLT, all right, it reads like this. It says, "What sorrows await you who lie awake at night, thinking up evil plans." Now, in Proverbs 16:4, I believe, let me go to that real quick. Proverbs 16. Oh, no, it's 4 and 16. Salakia, guys. I always get those two mixed up. Proverbs 4 and 16. It says, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall." And when you think about, you meditate on the deeper reason why they can't sleep unless they're, laying a wound under us, is because they know the prophecies is one day that they're going to go into captivity, that they're going to be, eviscerated from the earth. So knowing that, because they have access to more information than we do. We have the scriptures, and through the Spirit, the Lord, opens up understanding and, places thoughts in our mind. But they have actual archaeological proof that they've hidden away, knowing that, the scriptures are they're completely true. Which is what makes, us having faith such a beautiful thing. It's like, man, these people haven't even really seen, they don't have like any hardcore proof, but the scriptures and the prophecies are enough proof for them to believe, to love not their own lives unto the death. That's a divine, connection that they have through that belief. All right, Proverbs 4:16 again says, "For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall." And that's because, they're like, man, we got to do something. All right, so they're always around the clock thinking about ways to separate us from our power. All right, now let's go back to Micah 2:1 in the NLT. And that reads, "What sorrow awaits you who lie awake at night, thinking up evil plans? You rise at dawn and hurry to carry them out, simply because you have the power to do so. When you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it." All right? Is that not what they did over here in America and in various places around the earth? Especially, you got two nations of people, and they're one of them, who are fighting over the Holy Land today. And neither one of them have rights to that land. When you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it. When you want someone's house, you take it by fraud. All right? And they took our heritage. They took our name upon them. They call themselves, we're the Jewish people-ish, right? They took it by fraud. And that information is coming out more and more so, not just by us, but by whistleblowers in various nations all around the earth. When you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence. This man was blessed with the sword, so he uses it. You cheat a man of his property, stealing his family's inheritance. That's spot on, man. So, off rip, that's what they've done over here, all the way on the other side of the earth in America. But then, on top of that, they took us into bondage over here. And let's actually go. Let me pull it up here. It's a precept that I thought was pretty neat. When you go to Jeremiah 50:17 in the NLT, it says this. It says, "The Israelites are like sheep that have been scattered by lions. First the king of Assyria ate them up, and then the king Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon cracked their bones." So all 12 tribes, we've been going on from captivity to captivity, being devoured, being used to build up other kingdoms, all the way into this point here in spiritual Egypt. All right, spiritual Sodom and Egypt, like it talks about in Revelation. All right, we're back in bondage in this place who pushes the vibration of Sodom. Okay, Egypt meaning bondage. All right, in this last kingdom, the last kingdom that was prophesied to rule. All right, the toes. All right, the revised Roman Empire. So we're here, being devoured again. But this is the last time. Now I want to also read Isaiah 42:22 in the NLT. It says, "But his own people have been robbed and plundered, enslaved, imprisoned, and trapped." In prison. So when you were watching that clip, he talked about how they would use, this is convict labor. After, slavery was abolished, so-called. It was transferred over to, this is slave labor. And it was the same people, the same demographic of people that they were using for slaves. When they were turned into convict labor, it's the same people. They just dressed it up as something different. They still get convict labor today. All right? But his own people have been robbed and plundered, enslaved, imprisoned, and trapped. They are fair game for anyone. And all the nations can come over here, get a loan from these banks, which you know who rules the banks. Get a loan from these banks, set up corner stores, grocery stores, all kind of businesses in the neighborhoods or areas where Israelites dwell and thrive. So we've been made a spoil to everyone. They are fair game for anyone, and have no one to protect them, no one to take them back home. All right? But you go to Psalms 102:20, we're getting to that point where the groans and the sighs and cries of the prisoners, because America is a big prison camp. The world for Israel is a big prison camp. But specifically America, this is where the bulk of the 12 tribes are. And this is where the greatest deliverance is going to take place. Psalms 102 and 20. To hear the groans of the prisoners, to release those condemned to die. And those people that was sent to Sugar Land, like you said, it would take days, weeks, and months for many of those people to perish. All right? To hear the groans of the prisoners, to release those condemned to die. And we're going to be released in the highest fashion. All the world's going to see it and be a witness to the deliverance of the children of Israel, the elect of the children of Israel. All right? And those are going to be the people who are, like it says in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, sighing and crying for the abominations being done in the midst thereof. So I saw that clip. I wanted to share it with you guys. Finna get back to work here. And Abaratazah, the lesson was edifying. Want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right? May the blessing of election be upon your house.